Hey, I'm Andy. I make pies, and today we're gonna make a 3-berry pie, which is always one of the favorite pies that people ask for. Tastes like summer. It's made from berries. It's delicious. All right, so we need a selection of berries. I've got blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, washed of course. I have some vanilla, some apple cider vinegar, my prepared crust. I have a lemon that we're gonna turn into lemon juice. Pow. Plus I have sugar. I've got some additional flour for rolling out my crusts. I have a thickener, tapioca starch. This is my favorite thickener. Some people use cornstarch. I don't really like that because it gets too jelly-like. I'm not really into that. This has a much better texture to it. I've got salt and pepper. And that's it. So the first thing that I do when I do any pie is I make sure that my crusts are rolled out first, because you have to be working with cold crust. It holds its shape better in the oven, and it just delivers the best, most tender and flaky product. So we're gonna do that first. Okay, so I have floured my board and both sides of this crust. And then with whatever left I have on my hands, I'm just gonna put it on the rolling pin so nothing sticks. On the bottom crust, I like it thinner than I like the top crust. I want to roll this out to about a 13-inch diameter, which, maybe you know what 13 inches looks like and maybe you don't. But I'll show you how to know for sure if it's the right size. Now that my bottom crust is rolled out, I'm going to grab my pie plate. I've got mine in the freezer right now because, like I said, you want everything to be cold. And the way that I'm going to make sure that I have rolled it out to a large enough diameter is I'm going to hold the pie plate right over top of it and make sure that there's enough of an overhang that it can sit in the bottom and then come up the sides and still have room. It looks like I might need a little bit extra right here, so I'm going to do that. The way that I like to do this is I fold it over in half, and then I fold it in half again. And then I put the point of this right in the center of the pie plate, and I just unfold it, and there we go. If you have something like this where a crust breaks off or something, it's not a big deal. I mean, you've basically got some putty here to work with, so you just pinch it back together and you're good to go. And for now, that can go back into the fridge, not the freezer, the fridge. Now we're going to roll out the top crust for this, and I want this to be thicker, and the reason I want it to be thicker is because it's delicious. And it crisps up really nicely on the top of the pie, and it's great. All right. Same method. I'm just going to put this on a lined baking sheet to chill back down in the fridge. Now we're going to start to work on our filling. So I'm going to grab a pot. I've got a half a cup of blueberries here, a half a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, 3 grinds of black pepper. Nobody's going to know that there's black pepper in here, but it definitely adds a little extra pop that I really like. It helps offset the sweetness of the fruit. And then I've got apple cider vinegar here too. I put apple cider vinegar in most of my fruit pies, and for the same reason that I put the pepper in there, it adds a lot of zip. It's a lot sharper than lemon juice, and you wouldn't know that there's apple cider vinegar in any of these fruit pies. You just know that it's got really great acidity to it. And then I've got our lemon juice here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on the stove top until the berries start to burst, all the sugars are dissolved, and it comes to a light boil. I'm going to make sure all the berries are completely smashed, and this sort of makes a slurry that brings the filling of our pie together with all of the fresh berries. So you're going to be tempted to stick that on the heat and get involved in something else. You're going to walk away, you're going to have your coffee or whatever it is that you distract yourself with. You're going to do that. And half of that is going to wind up all over your stovetop. Don't do that. Don't walk away. Okay, that's that. So we're going to take this and just pour it in here. We're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/4 cup of our thickening agent. I'm just going to bring all of this together until all of the tapioca starch has been incorporated. We need to make a little glue to hold our pie together. So in here I have 1 egg and a tablespoon of milk. I'm just going to stick the top on this. You can use a fork, but why? Okay, and then I've got a pastry brush here. I've been in plenty of situations where I didn't have a pastry brush, and you can really just use your finger that you have recently washed, of course. So I'm just going to paint some of this on the edge of our crust. Looks good. And then I'm going to put everything in. Make sure we get all of that good juice in there. Oh, buddy. Yeah. All right, now we're going to take our top crust. Put her down there, and we're going to crimp it all together before we tuck it under. I'm just pinching the bottom crust to the top crust, getting a good seal there. And then we're going to tuck it under itself. So I'll take this top and roll it down there. If you come across an area that you've got too much crust, you can just tear it off. And the reason that I do this, if I don't and I have, an extra ½ pound of crust there, for example, then it's not going to cook through, and we want an evenly cooked crust. Okay, so I'm just going to go all the way around. Make sure we have a good seal here, nice lip. And then I'm going to crimp it. There's a bunch of different ways to crimp it. I'm not going to show you any of them. I'm just going to show you what I do, maybe some other time. So I take my knuckle and my 2 fingers, and I just kind of make a little U thing there. I go all the way around the pie, making those. All right, so we need to create some steam vents in our pie top so it doesn't explode and run everywhere. It needs to have some place to go so it doesn't blow out the side. So I like to just do a cross in the middle and some slits on each quarter. And we're going to take our egg wash and we're going to paint everything, not too heavily. We don't want pools of egg wash sitting down in here because Stephanie really hates that. So we're going to make sure that we don't do that. But I do want to get the outside of the crust so everything browns evenly. And we also want to give something for our sugar to stick to. So this will create a nice browned glossy top. The sugar will stick to it. And here I have coarse sugar, not like the kind that you put in the pie on the inside. It's coarse sugar, and now half of it's on the floor. So there we go, all over. Probably more than you would think that you should put on extra because it's good. I want to get all around the top too, edge of the crust. Okay, that looks pretty good. I've got a parchment-lined baking sheet. Pie is going to go on top. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And we're going to go on a lower rack in the oven at 400 for 30 minutes. And we're going to decrease the temperature to 375 and do another 30 minutes. This is what we want to see. We want to see some boil out. We want to see that it's bubbling in the center of the pie and that the entire crust in the center and all the way around is uniformly brown and golden and delicious. Oh my God. So here's the thing, you guys. You can't touch this pie for at least 4 hours. I know that sucks. It sucks for me too. And the pie is even better the next day. There's different types of people. There are people who like warm pie, some people like room temperature pie, and there's cold pie people. And I am a cold pie person all the way, every day. I'm not going to turn down any pie that's presented to me, but to me, cold pie is the best. Anyway, 4 hours. If you cut into it now, or even 2 hours from now, the juices are going to run everywhere. The pie won't hold its shape. And, you know, you've done all of this work. So just take it easy. Just wait. It'll be worth it. So it's the next day. Our pie is ready. I told you I'm a cold pie person. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. So I know I have two tools here, and I know this can do the work of this, but this is just easier for me to get through the crust, and then this is easier to lift it out. So leave me alone. I'm trying to eat some pie here. Oh my God, you guys. Are you kidding me? There's nothing better on the planet. You know? It's sweet, it's tart, it's super buttery, the crust is perfectly flaky and tender. It's everything that you want. Breakfast of champions, right there. All right, so there you have it. 3-berry pie. So easy. Only takes 16 hours to make. All right, till next time. Bye.